While I am running a campaign of positive solutions to save America, Kamala Harris is running a campaign of hate. Kamala had a really good moment this Tuesday with her speech, but of course, Joe Biden had to ruin it somehow by giving right-wingers a freebie. The pearl-clutching, fake outrage, and overall this dramatic attempt to become both the victim and the bully in every situation, it's pathetic, it's completely fabricated, and it's very intentional.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Of course, MAGA sees this, they jump on it, they realize, oh, we've had negative press because of the joke about Puerto Ricans being trash for multiple days. Now Joe Biden gave us a huge win here because we can use this clip. And by the way, they only clip it in either 3 or 9 seconds, so you can't get full context. But they are going to pretend to be very outraged about this clip. And let's talk about why that's really, really dumb. The White House put out this transcript, and it says, just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico, where I'm from in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. And this is the big debate, is did he mean, Trump's supporters are garbage? Or is he saying that these beliefs are garbage? And then he goes on, his demonization of Latinos is unbelievable. It's un-American. It's totally contrary to what we've done in America. Everything America's about, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Anyone with a reasonable brain who is approaching this without being super partisan knows Joe Biden is talking about, if you believe Puerto Ricans are garbage, then you and your beliefs are garbage. And that's inflammatory, not really for today's standards. But yeah, sure, it's a little bit inflammatory. But if you're calling them garbage for them doing bad things, that's not the same as coming out and just saying, for example, there's people who make up lies about Haitian immigrants, people who call for mass military intervention to target both illegal and legal immigrants, people who are willing to tear apart the Constitution in the name of political power. Joe Biden is calling that garbage, obviously. But you have J.D. Vance and a few other worshippers and followers of Trump virtue signaling in a way that would set an all-time high snowflake record on the most activist college campus. Remember, Donald Trump has called Democrats fascist, Marxist, communists, whatever that means. He's called immigrants vermin. He said immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. He said immigrants are spreading bad genetics around our country. He believes murdering is in the genes of immigrants. Immigrants are pouring in from all over the world, being extremely violent. When Mexico sends their people, they're not sending their best. They're sending violent rapists and criminals. He says immigrants are bringing drugs and bringing crime, when in reality, most drugs coming across the Mexican border are from American citizens. And also, undocumented and documented immigrants have half the crime rate of naturally born American citizens. Let alone Donald Trump over the past few weeks talking about how dictators around the world are his friends, but the enemy within America, he wants to use the U.S. military to crack down on American citizens. Not even talking about that. And we'll just ignore that for now. But whether it's deplorables or fascists or Nazis or Joe Biden saying that these beliefs are garbage, Democrats never come out with this right away. Like, Democrats never open up this conversation. Democrats respond to the aggression, and then Republicans try to be the bully, and they also want to be the victim when Democrats actually respond to the dumb things that they are saying. I don't care what the media says. I don't care what they say it's going to do to Kamala's campaign. Every honest person knows from just like a real perspective, okay? Let's talk face to face, man to man, woman to woman, they to them. We know Joe Biden did not mean to say all Trump supporters are garbage. That was probably the least important part of the entire conversation he had, but of course everyone hyperfixates on that. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's on interview number 50 talking about why bringing back internment camps and concentration camps will be a good idea, and no one cares. It's wild. Joe Biden is using dehumanizing language towards 80 million Americans, calling Trump supporters garbage. This is how the worst atrocities of the 20th century began, again in 2024. They think you are garbage, therefore worthy of elimination. Brother, We just saw what happened at Madison Square Garden. The words vermin used to talk about human beings, using the words Malaysian and Samoan as insults to mean low IQ. Brother, we know this is so shameless. Partisanship, partisan hack, grifting, whatever you want to call it. This is gross. Believe it or not, Donald Trump does not need to quote Hitler all the time. Like, he just doesn't need to do that, but they choose to. The campaign chooses to quote Hitler very strongly, and they triple down on it. So, like, talking about extermination, every accusation they make is a confession. Remember that. Republicans are allowed to call for genocide and call everyone subhuman and enemies of America. And call for military tribunals. But if Democrats say, hey, bro, that sounds a little authoritarian, then they're going to be like, how dare you say that? How dare you? Go back to drama class. I need to be dramatic right now. I need to be so dramatic, snowflake. Here's where the drama class kicks in. Charlie Kirk already put up like 20 tweets about this one instance, by the way, because they want to capitalize on it. A mother mourning her son who died of a fentanyl overdose is not garbage. A truck driver who can't afford rising diesel prices is not garbage. A father who wants to afford groceries is not garbage. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden ought to be ashamed of themselves. Here at the Donald Trump campaign, we value decorum. How dare you violate these standards of decency? How dare you here at the Trump campaign? And although we know Joe Biden didn't even mean to say that, we know Joe Biden didn't mean to say that, and Republicans will be the first to tell you that Joe Biden barely knows what he's saying half the time. But still, how dare you violate this decorum? This is a direct attack on mothers who are suffering from drug addiction. And bro, if this was a college kid talking about like a genuine problem and expressing themselves, there'd be a compilation on right-wing Twitter and right-wing YouTube making fun of that person. Everyone knows Joe Biden, in responding to Puerto Ricans being called a floating island of garbage, he was not responding by attacking a mother who lost their son to fentanyl. And Democratic policies over the past 2 to 3 years have given us the highest decrease in overdose deaths that we've ever seen, since the opioid epidemic started. But they don't care about these issues. They don't care about the truth. They don't care what Joe Biden says. They only care about power. And if they can find something to get people mad and to lie about it, they are going to use it every single time. Donald Trump was still lying today that FEMA never actually came to help anyone during the hurricanes and after the hurricanes because all the money was spent on immigrants. Republican governors of so many states and representatives have called Trump out on this, and they said they want him to stop lying about it. He still does. Haitian immigrants in Ohio, Republican governor, Republican mayor, Republican sheriff, they all said to Trump, stop lying about the Haitian immigrants. He still is doing it. They don't care about it. How is this going to change Kamala's campaign and chances of winning? The biggest issue is there has been amazing momentum in the past 2 weeks, and this is the one issue that is able to come up and bring that momentum to a halt. The speech she gave tonight, it might lessen the impact of it, but I'm not fully convinced this will play a big role. It depends if media obsesses on it too much. But the media cycle moves quick. Joe Biden said it, not Kamala Harris. And if Republicans are going to be crying about this topic when they are the ones that have been so racist and angry and vile, if they want to keep on yelling about what Joe Biden accidentally said, I think that's a pretty bad closing argument. And in the worst interpretation of this, Joe Biden would be calling the hateful rhetoric garbage. In the worst, way to view this, it's not the deplorable comment, because Joe Biden is explicitly saying, in response to what was said about Puerto Rico, I am calling those beliefs garbage. So it is different, but it does matter how things are clipped out of context and how the media carries it. But talking about the media, please consider supporting my channel, dropping a like, possibly subscribing. It would be so helpful. My channel memberships start at $2.99. For me to make more content more often, high quality content, so I can talk about these issues in a more expansive way. Any membership of any kind, any donations really helps with that mission. So please consider supporting. I wanted to make sure I got a video about this out tonight, so it's a little bit rushed. But everyone wants to react to things right away, so I guess I need to sometimes.